and he is also the convener of the Vrindavan Ashram Managing Committee of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust since May 2013. He was drawn to Bhagavan when he was in his 7th standard and was blessed with physical proximity to Swami since January 1992. And he has also been blessed with the opportunity of traveling with Bhagavan to Mumbai and later to Latur in 2002. Since 2005, he was very closely guided by Bhagavan himself on several initiatives regarding the youth movement in our organization. A very warm welcome to you, Vinay. A very warm welcome to Srimati Vidya Vinay Kumar also, who is with us today. I hand over the proceedings to Sri Vinay Kumar.
सर्वरूपधरं शिवं सर्वनामधरं शांतं सच्चिदानंदरूप अद्वैतं सत्यं शिवं सुंदरम. All the forms, all the names belong to Sai. He is being, awareness and bliss. He is truth, oneness and beauty. I had requested the organizers of this program to permit me to talk on the topic Sri Sathya Sai, Living God. I am grateful to them for having accepted this request. The reason I chose this topic specifically was, it intrigues me sometimes that we still refer to Swami in the past tense. In fact, the very purpose of a program like SAAKSHAATKAARA is to remind us that the omnipresence, that the Supreme Consciousness can never be in the past, never be in the present, and has nothing to do with the future. Because Sakshatkara essentially means the realization of the manifestation of that Supreme Consciousness. When we say the manifestation of the Supreme Consciousness, are we talking about something which has to come and appear here? Supreme Consciousness cannot come and go. Supreme Consciousness is always there, will continue to be there. Swami kept telling us, are you the body? Are you the mind? Are you the intellect? And he drove it into us and said, I am I is the way you should realize who you are. That is Sakshatkara. That is the greatest truth which he drove home. And it is indeed his design that we have this series of talks here and they are titled Sakshatkara. Because the ultimate objective that the avatar had with each one of us individually was to make us realize our true selves. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvam Masi. How many times has he said this in several discourses? To drive home the point again and again. Who are you? Who are you? Understand it. Who are you? That realization of what we are and what we need to move towards is the purpose of our existence. And this is the reason why I chose Living God as the title for this talk. Because living God in a sense means the Supreme Consciousness which is eternal. Somebody asked Swami, what is the pathway to liberation? And he said, there is no pathway, you yourself are liberation. Where is the path? The path comes only when there is something to be achieved. You yourself are that. Someone asked him, how long will it take for me to attain Sakshatkara, liberation? And Swami beautifully explained and said, the concept of time and space does not exist when it comes to realizing yourself. You may take time to move from one room to the next room, but there is not even that much time which is required for you to realize who you are. This is the essence of Sakshatkara. This is the essence of the living God, the living consciousness which all of us here, most of us here revere as God. All of us here probably have been fortunate to witness in that human, beautiful human form which was with us for so many decades. Adi Shankara, when he was traveling the streets of Kashi, he came across a man who was trying to master grammar, and that is when he got into the beautiful verses of the BHAGAVAN and reminded him that, ignorant fellow, this knowledge of grammar is not going to come to your rescue at the time when you need it most. This knowledge of grammar is not going to help you at that critical time in life when you will need to only remember the God's name. Moodamade, samprapte, sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati, dukhrun karne. I had the opportunity of narrating this verse to Swami once. And when I was saying nahi nahi rakshati, dukhrun karne, Swami said, Hangilla, stress madu, nahi nahi rakshati. He was driving home the point. No, it will not come to your rescue. The knowledge of grammar, knowledge of all the sciences that we have, all that intelligence, all that wisdom is not what comes to our rescue at that critical point in time. What comes to our rescue is Namasmarana. What comes to our rescue is singing the glory, thinking the glory of God, like what we did now. We sang bhajans. We are in a satsang. In the verse 7, Shankaracharya narrates so beautifully. In fact, when you read verse 7 and then go on to reading verse 9 of Bhajagovindam, in verse 7, Bhagastavat krida saktaha, Tarunastavat taruni saktaha, Vriddhastavat chinta saktaha, Pare brahmani kopina saktaha. Alas, when will I get to know that man who is craving to realize himself? Childhood is spent in sport, youth is spent in pursuit of senses, old age is spent in worry. Isn't this a fact with all of us? When will I find a man? He was pleading literally, when will I find a man who will be soaked and immersed in the thought of wanting to realize the divine? Then he goes on to say what essentially we have all gathered here today for. In verse 9, he clarifies it so beautifully. This is what Swami kept repeating so many times and keeps driving home that point to us. Satsangatve nissangatva. Good gathering helps us to remove false attachments. Nissangatve nirmohatva. Removes delusion, fear of delusion. Nissangatve nischalatatva. Establishes the truth of the self. Nischalatatve jivana mukti. Grants us liberation. That is what we achieve when we gather like this. That is Sakshatkara. That is the real essence of Sakshatkara. And that is only possible when we realize that the Supreme Consciousness is living. There is nothing called he was there, he will be there, he is there. He's there. That is why the topic I chose was Sri Sathya Sai, the living God. Swami had, in my view, 5 beautiful ways in which he drove home this point and made us realize the Sakshatkara within us. Made us realize the essence of the fact that we are all divine. The Sri Sathya Sai living God doesn't apply to this form of Swami. Each one of us is a Sri Sathya Sai. Each one of us is the living God. Each one of us is the beacon of that legacy. Each one of us has got a huge duty on our heads. Each one of us has got a responsibility to live up to that expectation which Swami had from each of us. That is Sakshatkara. That Sakshatkara he drove home in many ways, but the 5 essential ways I feel in which he drove home this point was, first, Paropakara idam shariram. Service. Go on doing service. He said the important thing for man is to keep on engaging himself in service. Seva, seva, seva. I asked Swami once, what is our primary duty? And he brought out a very, very significant, very important concept along these lines. He said the first entity is the individual, then comes society, then comes creation. Ultimate entity is God. From God sprung the creation, and then from there grew all the societies, and then within that society lies the individual, and therefore, he said, you have a duty as a part of that society to serve that society. Yukti and bhakti in your service will grant you mukti. That mukti is liberation. That mukti is self-realization. That mukti is sakshatkara. This was one. Paropakara idam sharira. One serving. Second, abhor ego. Get rid of the ego. Ego, there is no measure of the kind of ego that all of us have. I can say I have 100 kgs of ego with me. Somebody will say I have 10 kgs. Somebody will say I have a few miles or yards of ego. There are degrees and degrees of ego. In fact, Swami so beautifully puts it, and he says, Anga Artha Adhikara. You can get this very easily. Good body, wealth, responsibility, power, all this you can get very easily because it's all related to the material physical world. What is critical is to give up ahankara, because if you want anugraha, you need to give up ahankara. Anga artha adhikara sigbodu, ahankara idre anugraha sigode illa. That is the critical part in our existence, and the beauty of this ego is the ego becomes the reason for our sadhana. Because once I asked him, Swami, how do we get rid of ego? As if, he had some prescription and he would say, yeah, take 2 days do this and 3 days do this, and on the 5th, 6th day probably ego will go. And he said something so profound. He said, ಅದು ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಾಗ ನೀವು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಾನು ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. When you've been coming in this pathway of existence, you just gathered it here and there, here and there. You want somebody to praise you. You want to be the center of attraction. You want to be the epitome of everything that is correct. You don't like to hear anything against you. That is ego. This is how he put it. So abhorring ego is also the pathway for self-realization, and that grants sakshatkara. This is how the avatar was driving home this point again and again. Third, cultivate love. It was in an interview which I think members of SAI DARSHAN, all of us were blessed to have this interview in 2002 September, if I am not wrong. And in that interview I asked Swami, Halliyalli janrige ananda kodi. And Swami said, Modlu ninig kodtini, neenu hogi alli kodu. And later on he clarified this in greater intensity, and he said, each time you come to me, you must come as a blank white paper. You must come empty. Naan tumta hogtini, neen alli hogi kodta hogu. It is a very simple logic. Too much food will lead to indigestion. Too much food also is bad. Too much money is also bad. Similarly, too much love, this God clarified, was also bad to store. So you need to keep on outpouring that love wherever you get a chance. Come back to Him and take that love, cultivate the love in you and foster it amongst people around you. That is also a route to sakshatkara. Develop purity. Purity because he again explained it so beautifully. He said the human body, you have 5 sheath. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. The physical body, the vital breath, the mind, the intellect, and the bliss. These 5 sheaths, he said, is controlled by what is called the Chaitanya Purusha. And this Chaitanya Purusha, he said, resides. He put his hand here and said, Chaitanya Guhadalli idare. I said, Swami, heart illi idiyalla? Illa, illi idare. Right side. Chaitanya Guhadalli a Chaitanya Purusha iruvaga. Is it okay that I break into Kannada on and off?
Okay.
It's okay. Because I don't know any other language other than Kannada and Tamil and English. So he said, Chaitanya Guhadalli, Chaitanya Purusha idare. That means, said that is the level of purity that we need to maintain in this body to be able to realize the divinity which is latent within us. This is another mantra to realize supreme consciousness, which is sakshatkara. And the 5th one in my view, which he kept on harping, Papa Viti Sanganiti Daiva Vritti. Fear of sin, Love God, have good company. This is that. What we are actually indulging now is that. Good company, there is no question of any vague thought of committing a sin which will probably erupt in our minds when we are here. And love for God. How can we not love God? Is it possible for us not to love God? It is impossible, especially a God that we saw, this kind of a God, such a loving Lord. How is it possible that we could even vaguely feel like not loving Him? So these 5 I thought I must share with you, because these are essentially the beacons of achieving that SAAKSHAATKAARA, which were clarified and propounded by Bhagavan himself. Coming to Swami and the fact that how can we exist without him, the beautiful form, we relate to it. We are the Moodamatis, at least I am. Because however much God will keep coming and pounding it into us, He made this probably an error of adorning such a beautiful form and being so loving that it is impossible probably for us to think of supreme consciousness other than this form which we witnessed. My memories and my feelings as I speak to you about this mandir is what I, from the bottom of my heart, want to share. This mandir means a lot to me. Kumar just now took me upstairs. Tears welled up. This mandir was the spiritual school. It was the LKG sort of, the kindergarten in spirituality that I attended. Whatever I am today is only because of what this mandir has done for me. I truly cannot express it in words. It would be foolish for me to even attempt to express it in words. How can I forget those beautiful days when we would wait for Swami to arrive in the car outside there? All this is where he has walked. This is all hallowed land. This is probably the greatest Punya Kshetra on earth. He actually climbed up these steps. He sat on this throne. He's moved all around here. I was here on the day when that Shirdi Baba was inaugurated. I was sitting somewhere here. The love that he poured out on all of us when we came. The way aunties used to stand there to welcome Swami. I cannot forget the day when I was asked to attend to the flower pots outside. And Swami was upstairs having his lunch, I think. And someone said, there is a big pot outside, you need to move it out. I climbed up the stairs and just then Swami comes out of the door. And the first touch, he hit my shoulder. What is your name? As if he didn't know. But God was getting introduced to me. This is the beauty of the love which he had for this mandir. This mandir is not an ordinary place. This is not just some other center. This, in a conversation I had with him in 2007, suddenly Swami said, "Neenu center gella hogtiya?" I was wondering what center meant. Because this is like some terminology. You need to look up into the dictionary of the SATHYA organization probably. Ade bhajane ella madak hogtiya? I for one can never sing. If I sing, probably the mandir will be all for myself. So I said, "Illa Swami, alli mane hatra ondu mandira ide hogta idini." Yav devasthana? Sai Darshan. Oh, Sai Darshana gottu, tumba chennagi gottu. Adu ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಬರ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ರೋಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತುಂಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬಾಗಿಲಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಾಗಿಲಿದೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಜಾಗ ಸಾಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. This was prophecy by the Supreme Consciousness. This is not an ordinary place. This is not just another temple. This is not even compared to Mecca. This is beyond that. This is far greater than anything else. This is something which was so close to his heart. There were so many, you look out of the window now, he has walked all over there. He has gone to the backside. He has come over here. Is there an inch of land here that he did not tread upon? It is hallowed land. It is truly hallowed land. We are indeed extremely fortunate, and I deem it the greatest fortune of my life to have been a part of this mandir. I say it so proudly outside. I say it so proudly outside that I belong to Sai Darshan. He christened it. How many temples did he go and christen? How many temples did he go and name? How many temples did he go to select the tile that has to be put? Dr. Shastri is here. I don't see Murthy uncle around, but these are all the pillars of the mandir. These are all aunties, of course, here. Kushalap auntie is here. I have such fond memories of Rameshwar uncle. Amazing. I tell you, these are all the people who I was telling somebody yesterday in the meeting which we had. I was telling him, I said, if a time comes in life where I have to walk into a temple or walk into a center of Swamis and I don't see some of those familiar faces who are there, I said, I would rather not be alive, because our link to the God, to the Lord, is all through these people. When I see auntie sitting here today, those wonderful memories of Kushalapa uncle just rushes back. It's not ordinary. He was not an ordinary soul. I'm sure he has a big role to play with Swami whenever he's going to make himself available for us to see again. So this temple has such great things that happened in my life when I was part of this mandir. To quote, first of all, my first great miracle, sort of, in my life happened when I was actively engaged in serving in this mandir. Brother Shivarama Krishna is here. For my chartered accountancy, I would go to him to get taught in mathematics. He lives somewhere near Indiranagar. And I used to go on my bike to his house to learn maths. And one night, when I was driving to his place, near the Bevel railway line crossing, I was slowing down and suddenly I heard someone say, "Shh, shh." And I turned back and it was Swami in his full physical, divine, beautiful form as we know him, sitting right there on that bench. He calls me to him, I sit next to him. We spent about 15-20 minutes probably. He spoke about such profound truth. He said, look at the moon. And his feet were dangling because it was not placed on the ground. He said, look at the moon. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I was there, not there. Was it hallucination? Was it a dream? Was it real? But it was him. And you don't know whether it was him because you are absolutely petrified. This is the moon. Tomorrow morning the sun will come. Good times, bad times, good times, bad times. This is how life is. And then he spoke a few other things. And then he said, now it is time for me to leave, go back home. He gets up, walks up to the railway line and vanishes. This is like some Amar Chitra Katha stuff or that's how I looked at it at that time. And then I came back home and I was actually completely struck. I didn't know what was happening to me. I developed high fever. I was laid up. There was fear inside. There was anxiety. There was a feeling of, was it true? Was it real? And if it was true, how can it be? I mean, did I actually see him there? And this feeling went on for 2-3 days. And then, you know what? On the third day, Swami sends Sri K.R. Prasad, who was the trustee of the Central Trust at that time. He sent him home. He sent him home with prasadam, just to send a message. Tell that boy, it was me that he saw. And it was true. Ask him not to worry. That is the reassurance that there is nothing in the past about him. It is consciousness. It can embody itself now. He is right here. It is just some inner questioning that is required for us to be able to visualize him. That is all. It is mercy, absolute mercy. But I attributed all this to the mandir. I felt the more you serve, more good things are happening. I was doing my chartered accountancy at that time. Shivaram used to come home, of course, he's a witness to all this. The room where I used to study, Vibhuti will start materializing on all the photographs. It started materializing on the walls. He would come We would have food to eat. He loved sambar in my house. Tamil Nadu sambar is very famous. So he would come just to typically taste the sambar. We would have plate and sambar, and then you lift the plate, under the plate vibhuti will form. And it would go on happening like this. A lot of vibhuti would come, it would gush out, it would fall. And on the days I had to write the exams, it would be in extra measure. As if that morning I'm going for the exam and extra vibhuti will come, I'll take it and go. And then in 2007, several years after that, Swami was one day, in his mercy, he was walking in the veranda, he held my hand and he was introducing me to people. Ivaru Vinay Kumar, chartered accountant. Ivaru Vinay Kumar, chartered accountant. Ivaru Vinay Kumar, chartered accountant. And I was feeling so awkward, and you can't do anything because he's holding one hand. So I was like, trying to just move around. And then after that we went in, and inside I said, Swami, so many times you went on saying chartered accountant, Yella Nima Daye Swami, I said. He said, exam divsa ella vibhuti kodta ide, gottalla? Love. Not even love, I feel it is not even grace. I mean, how do you define this? This is mercy. It is like, take it and go. Mudamate, take it still. That is what it was. That is again attributed to my days in this mandir. Because I feel all that was because of some great opportunity to do some great work in the mandir. How can I forget Mani Mami? Where is she? She is not around here, I think. Those were days when we used to come for Narayan Seva cooking. I was called the Bhima of the temple, you know why. And then a few brothers here who were there at that time, she would do a phenomenal thing. There would be a big handa and sambar had to be cooked. And she'll put all the ingredients in that. And she'll say, you go on stirring, I'll come back. And then I'm stirring and the madam has gone for a short walk probably. She's gone, she's chatting everywhere. And then till she comes back, I'm still stirring. And we had that kitchen there, auntie, if you remember. It was right outside. And it was such an awesome experience. It was such a great feeling to be doing all that. And I used to always think, okay, this is the reason why Swami did that. This is the reason why he gave that vibhuti. This is the reason. So he ensured that I was doing work here and made it clear to me in some sense, you chap better do work there, only then you're going to get some prasadam here. So it was linked, sort of. Everything in those days, I tell you, in January 92, Kumar was saying now, I was sitting in Vrindavan, and one morning Swami, Mumbai. I didn't even know what it meant. And then I got to know from somebody that Swami was traveling to Bombay. And he probably meant that I should go with him. That was something very great to expect. Because who am I after all? Nothing at all. So I ran to Uncle, Kushalapa Uncle. I said, Uncle, this is what Swami, I got a message. He guided me and all that, and he said, you get ready and go. You go. I said, but whom do I contact? I don't even know whether I can actually go. Am I going to be part of that group which will travel with Swami? I don't even know how to get a ticket. He's going to go in an aeroplane. How do I get a ticket? I'm only studying. I don't even have the money to buy that ticket. It was some 1680 rupees, I remember, because I had to take a loan from my aunt to buy that. And I used to do income tax return filing for airlines, Indian Airlines staff. So I called one of them and said, I've got to go to Bombay. I'll file your returns and do everything for you. Can you adjust the cost of the ticket against the fee? So we did some extra income tax work because it was practical exposure. This was mercy to the Mudamate. Take it. Climbed on top, came up, and as the flight was going to land in Mumbai, I was like, ego was all over me. I mean, I had probably put on a few kgs on the flight itself. And I said, Swami in between had given some duty also in the flight, because a lot of people were coming to Swami to get photographs signed and all that. So he said, hey, get up and control the crowd. So we are controlling the crowd so that people don't go to him and all that. And then as we are nearing Mumbai, I went to Swami and I said, Ali room nimma pakadele putpidi Swami. What audacity I should have had. And he said, "You Shirdiಗೆ ಹೋಗು." I said, "ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ, am I not going to stay in Dharmakshetra?" ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀನು ಶಿರಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗು. Then I said, but I had no readiness. I didn't even have money. I had some 63 rupees or 64 rupees with me because I thought everything will be taken care. Next thing he says, "Yenu chinte madbeda." He says, "At the airport, your aunt and uncle will come. They will arrange everything for you to go to Shirdi." I reach the airport. Swami, of course, just gets up, walks away. I see him just moving, going down the steps, sitting in some car, and going away. And I thought the world ended for me. I am in Mumbai. I don't know head or tail of what I am supposed to do. I am getting down from the flight. It was like two worlds. You are there with God. You felt you were everything. Now you are all alone. And you are walking back because once Swami leaves, everybody goes away with him. You are right there. And then I am walking, trudging along. And I entered the airport. I said, which uncle, which aunt will come? Because I didn't call anybody. What is going to happen now? And right there, Mr. and Mrs. Uncle and aunt are standing. And I said, "How come you are here?" They said, "We are expecting some friend to come from Ahmedabad. So we have come to receive him." We didn't know that you have come. So they received. And the next morning, I told my aunt, "Swami has asked me to go to Shirdi." So she arranged all the tickets and all that. And I went to Shirdi. It was my first visit. I was emotionally charged. I took a bus from Dadar. I reached Shirdi at 3:45 in the morning. I got down from the bus. I touched the earth of Shirdi. It was such an emotional feeling because that is Swami's place. That is where he incarnated first. The moment I touched that earth, a young boy comes and then he says, I know a lot of Marathi. So he said, "मी पूजाच्या थाली घेऊन आलो, मी घेऊन जातो. तुमचं पूजा, everything I will take care." He said. Small boy. He comes, he finishes everything. At the end of it, I asked him, "How much do I pay you?" He said 73 rupees or 74 rupees or something. My aunt had given some money, I gave him and I came away. I came back to Bombay. I wanted to travel back with Swami to Bangalore. I didn't know how to know when he's traveling. It's very difficult to understand, get news about Sathya Sai. Very difficult. So I was trying my best. I had no access to anybody in Dharmakshetra. I felt, how can it be like this? You traveled with him, he sent you to Shirdi. Will I not get a chance to go in and actually meet him? And then there was so much crowd there, I just couldn't even get it. Then I said, let me go to the Indiranagar's office and check up when is Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba traveling back. So I go to the Indiranagar's office and there again they won't tell you correctly. Then with a lot of difficulty I got to know the time and the day when he was traveling back. So I told my aunt, "Please get me a ticket on that flight. I want to be on that flight to go back with him." She said, "It is very difficult because you might have come with him, but with Sai Baba," she says, "how can you say that you will be able to travel back with him? Anyway, I'll get you the ticket." So she got a ticket. I go to the airport. There's a check-in counter. I'm standing there. Swami's seat number was 7A. While going from here also. Return also probably was 7A. I don't know. So I was thinking I should pitch for anything on that row 7. Because while going, my income tax van helped me to get 7C. So while returning, I wanted to again be on the 7th row. So I was waiting and just when my thing came, he gives me a boarding pass and says it is 12. So I was wondering, 5 rows behind, how do I get to the row where Swami was? Swami is going to be probably. The next guy comes and I was standing there and he says, "Why were you pushing for that 7? So I said, "No, that is the row in which Sathya Sai Baba is traveling and I want to be on that same row." He said, "Please take my ticket. I have got 7 because I don't want to be on that row. I was on this flight which came from Bangalore to Mumbai and it was terrible because there was so much of chaos all around me. I don't want to be on that row. You take this, I'll go to the back." So I got 7. Then I am sitting there. Swami enters the flight and the moment he got in, the first question is just sort of entered the cabin. "Yak mandir khode?" ದ್ವಾರಕಾಮಾಯಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಫಸ್ಟ್. I was like taken aback. And he's standing at the entrance of the aircraft, and from there he's shouting, because 7 is the first row. So I went near and knelt down. And I said, Swami, ಶಿರಡಿಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ದ್ವಾರಕಾಮಾಯಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಮಂದಿರಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋದೆ? Then I realized, this is God, right? He knows everything, every act, everything that we are doing. Omniscient, SAAKSHAATKAARA, supreme consciousness. What can be hidden from him? Then it carried on, the conversation went on, and Swami said, in Dharmakshetra, they had very good programs. You couldn't come. I got prasadam for you. So laddu. He gave the laddu of Dharmakshetra. And so all this I got. And now you can imagine how much ego must have got created in me. Because I traveled with him, I'm traveling back with him, I get a laddu, I get to talk with him, I'm all over the place. I'm anyway all over the place when I'm standing or moving. But I was really all over the place. And I came back to Bangalore. And I was more interested in going all around and telling people, I traveled with Swami, I came back, he gave me laddu, he did this, he did that. It was all over me, it was all on top. Not two combo, it was hundreds of combos which had come. And I came straight to the mandir, believe me, it was the HAL airport. I came straight here, and Roy auntie was here on that day. Aditi Roy auntie was here. She was cleaning the carpets. She was another great devotee of Bhagavan. Again, blessed to be part of this mandir. This mandir has had some phenomenal devotees. I'm telling you, if in the list of devotees that can be categorized in the avatarhood of Sai, Sai Darshan will have a large chunk of those big names, I'm sure. I entered and she was sitting somewhere there. She was cleaning the carpet. And I said, I just came in like the big boss. Because I thought, I actually traveled with Swami, So what? You're cleaning a carpet, like what is this? It was ego at its peak. And I said, Auntie, so I just came. Harshan, because she was Bengali, She went around in a Bengali accent. Then I said, I came with Swami from Mumbai. Oh, it starts off and then adds to your ego, builds it up more, fuels it more. So it went on like that for 2-3 days. Swami was in Vrindavan. Second day, I go to Vrindavan for darshan. And I thought, I've traveled with him, came back with him, so I'm a very special human being now. So when I go there, I will actually be able to he'll actually do something very special, and I'm like some superior human being now. And Swami, he crossed me, and it was like I don't even exist. He just moved. That's all. I was like, it ended. This went on for 1.5 years. He would simply not look. He was not even interested in turning and looking at me. And why was this? Only because it had hit me on my head. Ahankara itre anugraha hege baratte? How? Anga, artha, adhikara, ella sigatte. Anugraha, if you want, ahankara should go, abhorring the ego, taking us towards self-realization, taking us towards SAAKSHAATKAARA. Keep on, the teacher in him will not leave you, again and again. It was not difficult for him to talk to me probably, but he had to drive home a big lesson. Get rid of that ego. 1 year was like massacre. Tell you, you're going every time expecting something will happen. No. You're trying to get vantage points. How? He's got a bigger plan for you. He wants to teach you, he wants to uplift you, he wants to take you on that path. How can you ever allow him to not do that? It is love. It is love in action. He wants to change you, he wants to uplift you. How can he not do it? So this was another lesson I learned because of my association with this mandir. I attributed that Mumbai visit, the return. I know that 1 year what I went through. I would come here, I would attend every bhajan. I would try to take part in more and more seva, because I thought seva was that doing the Narayan seva and coming for the bhajan and doing all this is the easy route to Swami. It was not. It was not. It was the change that had to be brought from within. That is what it was actually. So this mandir had a lot to do in shaping me and building me up in not building, probably in creating some transformation in those very, very innate bad thoughts and qualities that we are all sometimes, used to following. What is it that really brings us and gets us attracted to Swami? In a sense, it's that love. Essentially, I would feel it's that love, the supreme compassion. That love of his is so enchanting. I think he's stolen all our hearts with that love. Then he beholds us with all those teachings. And finally, he uplifts us and makes us realize who we are by revealing divinity to us. With Bhagwan's permission, and in all humility, I would like to share a few of those instances where he sort of made us experience that love, became the supreme teacher, and revealed some facets of that divinity. I remember it was Dasara function in Parthi. We reached Parthi in the morning. Dasara is so special. It was Vijayadashmi day actually. Lot of crowd, lot of people. This was in 2006. And Swami was so busy. He had finished the morning function. Purnahuti was over. And before that he had come to the mandir. He was doing things with the priests. Then he went back to Purnachandra hall. He finished the Purnahuti there. And he was very busy. So obviously when Swami is in that kind of a schedule, you don't want to go and impinge and don't want to go and trouble him at all. So we finished morning darshan, and then I had my first lunch in the North Indian canteen. And North Indian canteen can give you some awesome stuff. So I had my first lunch there. And then because some friend called me, I went to a hotel outside also afterwards to have a second lunch to give him company. Because I can really eat. And a lot of guys do it. So I went and had my second lunch. And then after second lunch, I thought, now let me go back and sleep for 3-4 hours. And then evening, some music will be there. So go and sit there and enjoy Swami's darshan. I entered the ashram. And as we are crossing the accommodation block, I get a call saying, you are urgently called to accommodation office. So I go there. And Unni sir was there, he was taking care of accommodation. And he said, Swami has called you urgently. They are waiting for you, rush now. So I said, but now what? You are being called for lunch. And so the Bhojana Priya Brahmana is known, but not that much of Bhojan. So I go to Yajur Mandir, and there is this security in charge there. Auji, Swami khada hai, jaldi ho, he's from Nepal. So he's like ushering me inside. And I have like 2 lunches, panting, it's like all sambar is gone, kurma, girma, everything was there. So I'm entering, and the love. I entered the dining hall. Swami was seated at the head of the table. He had a few senior members with him there. As I went there, ನಿನಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಊಟನೂ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. This much love, no, even mother cannot give. How can she give? It's not possible. Then I went and knelt before him. I said, Swami, tappaitu. Then I said, Swami, where do I sit? All big people were seated. Nanu edirugade kutko. It's a big table. He said, Akade kutko. I said, how can I sit in front of you? How can I even sit on that table? How can you? It's not possible. I said, Swami, how can I sit with my feet facing you? He said, Parvagilla Kutko. So I sat. And then just behind me was that beautiful picture of Swami materializing Krishna from the sand. It was right behind me, ancient picture. Swami was purposely passing remarks about that picture. And in that process, he kept on looking at me because it was right behind me. So from there, he diverted everybody's attention to the photo. And he's looking and saying, and I was like, I didn't know, because all these people are very senior people. I mean, I'm like I'm nothing at all. I mean, how can I be even having the audacity to sit there? And the very fact that he permitted me to enter that room, I was wondering, what is this? He was sitting there and he's like, from that corner, through eyes, he's giving clear indication, because some food was already served on the plate. And I like Bangan Bharta. So Bangan Bharta was there. It was with all masala and oil and all. Because a lot of devotees would send it to Swami, and Swami would then give it to people who are with him. So my eyes immediately went to the Bangan Bharta. And Swami knew it. So from there. And then I came out with some classic dialogue. I said, Swami, idella tamasi kuta. And immediately Swami said, Nanna edirugade tinta idiyalla, ella satvika agatte. So I had the Bangan Bharta. Initially it started with little, 1, 2. I can really eat. I'm not joking. They all know it. Then there were puris. Didn't know. So I had 1 puri. Nintarane detinu. I mean, it was love in action. It was absolute love. Why would he do it? Then finally lunch got over. Then he said, Iga ice cream kodtini. So first vanilla ice cream came. I enjoy ice cream. I can really have oodles and oodles of ice cream. So ice cream came. So I had the vanilla ice cream. Then strawberry ice cream came. So I had the strawberry ice cream. Then chocolate ice cream came. And the senior people who were there were obviously very well mannered. So they were like, they were just taking a little bit, or they were like saying no. But I was like, everything is okay. So it's coming, I'm eating. When the chocolate ice cream came, Swami said, Ishtu tintiyappa. Then I didn't bother, because I felt, it is all prasadam. So I ate the chocolate ice cream also. After I finished eating the chocolate ice cream, he says, chocolate is very bad for health. Yaru chocolate ice cream tinbaru. Iga nimge chocolate ice cream kodbitella, so I'll give you fruits. And the mother, musk melon was there. It was already cut nicely. Swami then cuts it. What can you do to repay this love? There is no measure. Why should you do it? No need. He cut the melon into small pieces. Tavadi, thinni. So he had the fruit. After everything is over, imagine so much of food, beautiful dishes, eating it in front of Bhagavan. After all that is over, we were all asked to come and do namaskar to him before we leave the room. This is traditionally followed when you have lunch with Swami. When I went to do my namaskar, he says, ಇವತ್ತು ಊಟ ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಊಟ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ತಪ್ಪಾಯ್ತು ಬಂಗಾರು. I was like, I said, what is this? How can God Is it God? Is it Mother? What do you say? This much love? For what? Each time I think about all this, I feel Swami uses us till the last breath. When this breath goes from the body, we should be doing your work. That is all, till the end. This much love. We had the road accident, 2007. Sai Prasad was there in the car. Pradeep Reddy was there in the car. I don't know if he's here now. She had sort of gone. Swami revived her. We came back home. We wanted to go back to Swami because who else is there? Every evening for 15 days, every evening he would call. All those 15 days, 6:30, 6:45 in the evening, the call will come. Swami is there in the room. Senior member is talking. Swami is inquiring, how are you today? What do you tell him? So much love. Every evening it happened. All those 15 days. And then on the 14th day or something, we were permitted to come to Parthi. Because around the 10th day, I said, please ask Swami if we can come. It is very difficult to go through this without seeing you. So they asked Swami and Swami permitted graciously and we went to Parthi. Swami comes. He came early, 3:45. He comes, Kulwant Hall, takes the first right, comes to the veranda. He was sitting there. Punarjanma kottidini. Olagogo. We went in. The moment we went in, he revealed some things to her. And after that, the most touching part, that is what I was trying to convey. He hadnanak divsa, he said, each time I would take the food to eat, I couldn't eat because I was thinking about you all. Uta madakagila bangaru, he said. That is the kind of love. And this is the kind of love he wanted us to cultivate also for everyone around us. Because aren't we embodiments of the divine? Divyatma Swarupalara, he kept saying. Prema Swarupalara, he kept saying. Are we not that? He wanted us to do that. My God, why would he want to think of us each time he had to eat? This is the kind of love. One afternoon, he finishes granting us the interview. After the interview, we went back to the room and I got changed into normal colored clothes to come back to Bangalore. And Swami sent somebody to the room and says, ask him to come back. And then I had to change again into whites and rushed back to the mandir. Swami was inside, bhajans were going on. I was waiting outside, I was a little scared and I didn't know whether I had done a mistake. I didn't know why he called. Because it is mudamate, right? See, the first thought that comes to us is, have I done a mistake? There is fear. You can never accept it that God is also calling you to give you love. Every call of His is only to give us love. How can He ever be angry with us? It is impossible. But fear. So I was standing outside there and then Aarti got over, Swami came out and you know in Parthi how it is. So people around were sitting there. I asked them, sir, why did Swami call? I mean, why? I mean, I don't know if some of you have experienced it, but Parthi is, Dwarkanath sir will know, some other senior people will know. You know, I mean, it's like stoic. It's like such serious, big, castroil faces. You know, so you are like even more scared. You don't know what has happened. So waiting. Swami came out. I rushed to him. Tondre kotte ninge, said. I said, yes, Tondre Swami. ಇವತ್ತು ನೀನು ಹೋಗೋದು ಮುಂಚೆ ಪಾದ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾದ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೆ because typically most of the times when we used to leave Parthi, take a namaskar and then leave, and that day in some hurry I had left from the room. Swami remembered it. ಪಾದ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೆ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ನಿನಗೆ, ಈಗ ಹೊರಡು ಬಂಗಾರ. This much love for what? Only to drive home the point of SAAKSHAATKAARA. Only to drive home the point, living supreme consciousness. Only that, living God. We have adopted from this mandir a village called Bovipalya. All of you know about it. This village was struck with chikungunya at some point. A lot of people were suffering. One afternoon, Vidya, during the talk with Swami, she said, Swami asked, how is village seva going on? So the instant answer was, Ella chanag nadita ide. Again he repeated, Ella chanagideya? Houdu Swami, ella chanagideya. Juvaglu ella chanagideya. Then it struck, I think, and she said, Swami, they are all suffering with chikungunya. Lot of people are having fever. There is no cure. People are all suffering there. Swami broke down. There were tears in his eyes. He removed so much vibhuti. And he gave, and he said, you go and spread it all around the village. I will take care of them. Go and tell them I will take care of them. Go and give it. We came back to Bangalore. We went to the village. We gave them the packets of vibhuti. A lot of vibhuti was also sprinkled along the boundaries of the village. And believe it or not, there was no chikungunya which ever affected the village after that. It was happening in Kutkalahandi, which was just like 2 kilometers away. But that village was completely safeguarded. This was love. What he was trying to teach us was instant compassion. And when you feel the compassion erupting in you, you must immediately give effect to it. No delay. Oh, I feel sorry. So what? What did you do? Immediately. God could have also heard us, kept quiet. His supreme will could have cured the chikungunya. He acted immediately. That was the greatness. When the World Trade Center crash happened, in that year I was asked to move to New York to work there. And I was so thrilled to move out of here. So we had sort of got ready and we had decided to move. And I got this call in the month of March. And I went to Vrindavan. Swami was there. It was in April, second week or third week. Just to inform him that we are leaving and we need his permission. I was sitting on the aisle on the right side, and right opposite me is where the old students block was. Swami comes, Swami na bittu hogtiya, go! And he was so upset after that. He didn't give proper darshan to the people sitting opposite me. He was in a hurry, he finished, he accepted Arati, he left. And I came back home, and I was thinking, what is this? You went to take blessing. And Swami sort of admonishes you, shouts at you, throws away the letter, says, get out. So we spoke and we decided we will not go. He said, if Swami is not happy, how can we go? Is there an identity for us other than him? We are what he is. SAAKSHAATKAARA. So I sent a message to my employer saying, I'm sorry, I cannot accept this. That year in September, the World Trade Center, we all know what happened. The offices were on the 52nd floor of that building. All of them died. If I had gone, probably would have reached him earlier. I'm still around. After several months, had the chance, and Swami said, I thought after that come back to Parthi, thank him. When all this crash happened, went back to Parthi to thank him. Just ignores him. Because for him, it is natural for mother to love the child, natural for the mother to do this for the child. It is not unnatural. It is unnatural for us to feel that that much love can be there. It is natural for him. He did it to me, he has done it to hundreds of people. I am just, like I said, with Bhagavan's permission, whatever I am telling you all now is all with his permission. Wherever he permitted to share a few instances, I am only sharing those. He could have done it to hundreds, thousands. There are far greater devotees here. It was only love. So he just walked past. Several months later, once he said, ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು? As if he requires us to do his work. Who are we? We are probably, sometimes things happen in spite of us. Who are we? This was the love. Swami left his mortal frame. The SAAKSHAATKAARA is the way in which we look at him now. Last year she went through a bad time. She had all those surgery and all kinds of health complications. And the doctors were worried because it became very complicated last year. That night after putting her in the hospital, I came back home. It was 11:30 in the night. I just thought, Swami, if you had been there, I could have come to you and asked you. I would have told you at least this happened. I was sitting in the puja room at 11:30 in the night, and suddenly I hear a voice, and there's a shower of vibhuti from the photo. He makes you realize I am there. I am always around you. Why? Because he is the supreme consciousness. That is SAAKSHAATKAARA. That is universal love. That is what he wanted us to become. Wherever there is a call, respond. Wherever there is a need, be there. It's not for one. The whole of humanity probably cries for him. That is love. The teacher in him. He used all ways and means to drive home points, to teach lessons. Last week when his robe was sent here, so many thoughts came to my mind about the lessons he taught, making the robe as an excuse. Two of those I want to share. One afternoon, Swami came for darshan. Swami typically, when he would get out of the car and come towards the mandir, typically, beautiful smile, you're in the dumps and you will get uplifted with that smile. Wonderful feeling of joy comes when you are in his immediate presence. When he came around, I found he was so dull and so stony-faced and so angry, sort of, he was like so seriously he was coming. And I had the audacity to go and pull his robe. I went near and tucked down his robe like this. Hey! I said, Swami, we are used to seeing that beautiful face and the beautiful smile. Why this kind of a face, Swami? Why are you angry with us? Hinde nodu. See behind you. And I turned behind, and a lot of people, gastroil faces, sitting like that, as if in the next few moments the world will end. But they were in contemplation probably, but that is the look they gave. And then a very senior member of the institute, he asked me, how dare you go and touch Swami's robe? Do you know what you have done? And what did Swami tell you? He thought Swami blasted me and told me to get out of the place. I said, Swami told me to see behind. So I saw behind, sir, and that is all that happened. Then he probably realized it. He spoke to somebody else who was more senior and all that. They had some quick exchange of something. Because it was a wrong act to go and touch Swami's robe like that. I mean, what guts should you have? But I just did it on instinct because I couldn't bear to see him like that. How can he be like that? It was always smile, 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 love, love, love. How can it be that he cannot be smiling? It's impossible for Swami, right? Because I'm sure even when he has a serious face, from within he wants to smile. It is always his nature to do that. So, within a few moments, Swami came out of the interview room. beautiful smile. Fantastic. I mean, who can give that kind of a smile? It just uplifts you. That radiance is something amazing. And I was watching it, and I went to Swami and said, "Tumba chennagide Swami." He said, "Iga hinde nodu." I turned and saw everybody had a beautiful smile on their face. And the lesson that he said immediately was, "Nandi illappa, illa reflection, reaction, reason." The way we are, he will respond like that. Our identity, his identity is the same. He is one with us, we are one with him. SAAKSHAATKAARA. Living God. Living supreme consciousness. There is no distinct identity. It is all one. The way we are, he is. That is all. The second time, it was another very poignant lesson which he drove home in a very, very subtle manner. There used to be one small game which used to happen between Swami and me. Since it happened in public view, everybody knew it, so there is nothing to hide. Each time he would come in the veranda, most of the times. As he is talking, he will say, "Namaskara Togo." That means that is an indication to end the conversation. Because you cannot go on. I mean, what are you? You can't go on coming in the way between him and his devotees. 2-3 times what happened was, in spite of Swami telling that, "Namaskara Tago," I would continue my conversation with him. And then after those few seconds, then I would try to search for the Namaskar. And he would coolly take his feet into the rope. And I would be searching and grappling, and you can't hold that warmth of those feet, right? You're only touching the rope. And it would be despondence, it would be a sense of, loss, and Swami's chair would have moved, and you've lost it. And this happened 2-3 times. And then when we had the opportunity to physically ask him this inside, I said, "Swami, when I'm trying to take your Pada Namaskar, you quickly take your feet into your robe." He said, "ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೀನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಯಿತು. If you do it instantly, you can hold on to my feet. If you don't listen to me instantly, chance is gone." What a great lesson. That means it should simply be implicit obedience. Talking about implicit obedience, there was another great lesson he taught me. He performed a great yagnam in Chennai. The lingam for that yagnam, Swami had asked us to keep it in our house for about 2 months. And Swami's instruction was very clear. He said, "Keep it in your house. On the day when I ask you to bring it and give it to the authorities in Chennai, only on that day you should give it. And I will tell you," he said. So, they took that lingam, kept it at home. And then the day for the yagnam was announced in Chennai, and they had taken Swami's permission to take the lingam to Chennai. Some of the very senior members from the trust and organization in Chennai came to Parthi, and I was asked to bring the lingam to Prashanti Nilayam on that day to hand it over to them. I got a message from somebody saying, "Swami has instructed you to bring the lingam." So we took the lingam and went to Prashanti Nilayam. And these people were supposed to come in the morning, and Swami was supposed to come in the morning for darshan, and it had to be handed over to them. That morning, Kulli Swami didn't come for darshan. And all these people were there, and after the arati was over, they are all very senior members. So they said, "We have come to take the lingam, we have already taken Swami's permission, you give the lingam, we'll take it." I said, "I will not give, because I have no instruction from Swami." And they said, "Do you know to whom you are talking?" I said, "With all humility, sir, but how can I give it? Because I don't have the instruction to give it to you." And I suggested to them, "Let us ask Swami." So we all went around 11:30. Swami had already come down in the house, and he was seated there. We all went in. And this senior member of the trust from Tamil Nadu, he went to Swami and said, Swami, Gudagavandagram. Gudagavandan Chandran Swami. And I was like shivering because, I mean, you're in front of him and suppose Swami like throws you out. I mean, for me, I always felt anything is okay. If he kills me, it's okay. But I cannot live if he tells me don't come back. If he says don't enter, I cannot live. It is not possible, right? For us, everything is him. So, he was standing there and he went on saying, and the other senior member went, third senior member went, all our other senior trustees of the Central Trust were standing there. And Swami looked at me like this. I didn't know how to respond. I went to Swami and I said, Swami, avaru lingam kelta idare, kodaboda. Can I give it? He said, avaru kelta idare, neen avrige kelu. Avaru kelta idare, neen avrige kodu. I said, neevu helta idira, nanu kodabeku anta. If you tell me to give, then I will hand it over. Adu nimmibbaru olige. I said, Swami, then this, I don't want to obviously name people, he's a very senior devotee. He's standing there and we are all small people, how are we even going to stand and talk in front of them? So I didn't know whether I can displease this senior gentleman from the Tamil Nadu organization. I said, sir, tappaithe, Swami Channarna Kurtudran sir. I said, if Swami tells, I'll give it. In front of Swami, I'm telling. And Swami said, hey, nan mele yaar, main maatadtiya. Avaru kelta idare, neen avrige kodu. So this was Krishna at his peak. Then I went near Swami and said, Swami, you had instructed that only if you tell I should give it. How can I give it if you are not telling me? Tumba santosha pa. He said, called them and said, if I don't tell, he will not do it. And he said, this implicit obedience is what is required. That implicit obedience, he drove home this point many times later through many instances. Once God, once the Lord, once the Sadguru, once the Master tells us something, it has to be implicitly obeyed. That is it. Because he knows what is best for us. He knows what is correct for us. Because his objective is only one, to take us towards SAAKSHAATKAARA. His objective is not petty. His objective is not to make me feel important in that gathering of senior devotees. His objective is to make me realize the manifestation of that consciousness, which I am. Towards that, all these are pointers towards that. What a great lesson. It was amazing. I mean, on another occasion, Punjab State Youth had come to Prashanti Nilayam. There was one standing instruction for me. Swami had made me sit right behind the where he used to sit on the throne, right behind that, in the inner veranda. I mean, at a point where in front of me was a wall. I was probably, so he had given an instruction that if there is any program, music and all that happening, you don't have to come and sit and watch. You sit where you are. So it was right like where the interview room is somewhere near there, I would be sitting and I couldn't see any of the programs. I'd be sitting there. And sometimes some phenomenal things will be happening, people will be clapping, this, that, and you're just imagining, okay, Swami must have done this, Swami must have done that. And sometimes you'll be posing for photographs and all, and through some nook, some hole, somewhere you're trying to get a glimpse of that orange robe, because you cannot move in front, you have to be where you are, implicit obedience. So I was sitting. But when this Punjab youth came, and they had a drama there, a music program, that day Swami said, so I moved to the front. Swami, the drama and all that got over. At the end of the drama, Swami was showering on them. He went, he took photographs, he created a chain for somebody, He distributed vastram. Love, no. Love has to no boundary. Keep on. Giving. Went on giving. And I was watching from here and I was saying, boys, he is really happy, man. What Punjab youth. But boss, is it the secret is in the pagadi or the secret is in the lassi or what is it? And Swami came back, and as he was coming towards the room, he comes near me and says, "Hegittu program?" I said, "Super, Swami." Because he liked it, right? How dare you say no? But it was good. I mean, those guys are awesome. Even now, those chaps are in touch, and we think of those days, and it's phenomenal. The energy they have is phenomenal. I said, "Tumma chennagittu, Swami." Oh. And he moves, he's thinking. Then the teacher in him, with mercy, he says, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಚೇನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಫೋಟೋ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ನಾನು ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅದು ಯಾರೂ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. Then I realized, what is this? What do we ask God? SAAKSHAATKAARA. Oneness. The feeling that we become one with Him. The feeling that we are Him. That realization. That liberation. That is what this Satsangam does. That is what Adi Shankara said. Because we are with divinity, right? You are not with some Sadguru. You are not with a Mathadipati. You don't need a medium. There is no channel. There is nobody in between God and us. It is direct. One to one. Nobody between us. SAAKSHAATKAARA. Continuous effort to uplift us. Continuous effort. Sustained effort to uplift us. Kumar is what Swami, you can go on. There is no end. Because there is so much love. There is no measure, right? It is like minutes grace. The divinity in him, I tell you, is another great way in which he was going on revealing this to drive home so many points to us. I remember one very great instance. Swami took so much of pain to drive home the divine in him on that day. Before the Yagnam, he asked us, "Yav color lingam beku?" We said, "Swami, white. White idre tumba chenagirutte Swami. Shweta color tumba pure agirutte." Aitu. 2 weeks before he performed a great Yagnam in Prashanti Nilayam. 2 weeks before the Yagnam, we got a call to go to Parthi, and Swami said that afternoon, "Bangalore, somebody has brought a beautiful green color lingam, Bharagata lingam. Nangottillappa, avaru tagondu bandidare. They have brought." That devotee is also very, very great devotee of Bhagavan, and he said, "Avaru tumba preetiyinda kottidare." He had called the head priest and me together. He said, "Both of you come to the house. We will keep both the lingams next to each other. And let the head priest decide." Because God doesn't want to be party to hurting any devotee. Krishna. But there was a teaching in this also. So the head priest and I were asked to go home. And Swami had beautifully arranged it, There was a table. On one table was the white lingam placed. On another table, he had kept the Maragata lingam also. Both were there. And the moment we entered the house, Swami is not facing the lingam. Swami has turned his chair and facing the main door. And he tells us, "Both of you go in and you see." And head priest decide madli. Naan madala, head priest. So I said, Swami, head priest, how will he decide? You have to only tell which is the lingam that we should use. Illappa, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಅವರು ಹೋಗಿ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿ. ನೀವು ಒಬ್ಬರು ಹೋಗಿ. Both of you go in and you decide. So he sends us inside. He's sitting facing the door. Some people are there with him there. Behind are the 2 tables with the 2 lingams. And both of us go in. And I was like, Swami, we wanted that white lingam. And you promised me that it will be the white lingam. And now you're putting us in this quandary. Maragatam, this, that and all. Suppose this head priest says Maragatam is good. What, Swami? As I'm thinking, standing inside, ಏನು ಚಿಂತೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ ಬಂಗಾರು, ನೋಡ್ಕೋ. Both of you have a look. So we are both watching the lingams. Now I'll tell you the real essence of this whole instance, which was really phenomenal manifestation of the divinity in him. Each time the head, he's giving running commentary sitting there. ಇವಾಗ ವೈಟ್ ಲಿಂಗಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಾ? Then that head priest, ಹೌದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ತುಂಬ ಶ್ವೇತವಾಗಿ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗಿ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಈಸ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ಭಕ್ತಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಈಗ ಬೇರೆ ಲಿಂಗಮ್ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಗೋಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೀಸ್, ಆ ಲಿಂಗಮು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಕಪ್ಪು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ಕಪ್ಪು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಅಗೇನ್ ನೀವು ಈಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರ ಲಿಂಗಮು? ಹೌದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ವೈಟ್ ಲಿಂಗಮ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಾ? Each time you see, come back and tell him. And he is facing this side and giving this commentary. We are there. There is a door in between this room and the next room. So he came. ಹೌದು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ವೈಟ್ ಲಿಂಗಮ್ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಶ್ವೇತವಾಗಿದೆ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. I don't know, you are telling. Again go and see. Again he goes and sees. Again that black mark on that green lingam. And I am standing right there and I am not seeing any black mark on that lingam. None of us who were standing there could see any black mark on that Margata lingam. It was absolutely beautiful actually. And Swami every time 3-4 times made the head priest go and made the head priest get convinced that there is a black line on that green lingam. And then after the 3rd, 4th time, ಹೌದಾ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಹಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೋದಾ? ಬೇಡ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಅದು ವೈಟ್ ಲಿಂಗಮೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Divinity, what more? I mean, anything can be done for him. Go to any extent. One morning I finished puja at home, came out of the puja room, and I somehow felt something was following me. And I came and sat in the living room, and right in front of me I saw Swami sitting. Now whether it is hallucination, whether it is a dream, I don't know. And when this happens, you do not want to tell it to anybody because this is very special. So I just kept quiet. I didn't even tell her. She doesn't know about anything. I just kept quiet. But you could see him very clearly. You don't know whether it is true or not true. We don't know anything, right? And then suddenly we got this call from Bharti asking us to come. So we go. And that afternoon Swami called us. And when we went, during the talk, she said, Swami, you have been saying you will come home, when are you coming? And he said, ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳು, ನೀನು ನೋಡ್ದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ. Is there time and space? No. Is there anything required for manifestation to happen? Does manifestation happen? It is always there. It has to just be seen. Supreme consciousness, SAAKSHAATKAARA, oneness. Same point. He was trying to raise us up and continues to raise us up to the highest levels of realization. Every small incident. There's no end to it. In fact, one night, I think I will end. One night, we were in Parthi and I said, it's such a great fortune for all of us to be there when Swami is with us. So I said, in all audacity, let me try to write a poem. I cannot sing. Swami told me, you can't sing, you don't know Vedam, you don't know anything, you are absolutely useless. I don't know why I have kept you with me. He kept on saying, poetry is far away from me, no link at all. but still I ventured and I wrote a poem. The poem was titled, How Fortunate Are We? And the poem went something like this, few lines probably I'll relate. I started off by saying, how fortunate is the beautiful curly silken hair that crowns the Supreme Godhead. How fortunate are those eyelids that shelter the lotus-shaped eyes of Lord Sai. How fortunate is the robe that adorns the slender form of the omniscient Sai. How fortunate are those kerchiefs that get caressed so beautifully across that moon-like face of the Lord. How fortunate is that seat, the throne, which seats the one who is the seat of ultimate wisdom. How fortunate is Mother Earth, who gets to kiss his feet each time he chooses to tread upon her. How fortunate are we to have been born at a time when the Supreme Consciousness decided to incarnate amongst us. How fortunate are we, Swami? How fortunate are we? I wrote this poem and then I said, if only Swami would read it. If only I get a chance to tell it to him. Thought was there. It remained. Promptly the mother, gave an opportunity. Keeps on giving chances. Keeps on giving. Called, poem kar dena. How the Swami? Head. So I narrated it. The first time I finished reading, I came to the last line. How fortunate are we to have been born at a time when the Supreme Consciousness decided to incarnate amidst us. Nija. He had closed his eyes. Nija. He said, Matte hedu. Our line Matte hedu. Again I said it. Then he said two words. He said, Chala Drushtam. Chance kottidini ellargu. How fortunate are we to be born at a time when the Supreme Consciousness decided to incarnate amidst us. He said, Chala Drushtamu. Chance kottidini nimige. This chance we should not leave. This will not come. This will never come. We are the most fortunate ones. There cannot be anybody more fortunate than us. It was Supreme Consciousness. We don't need anything in between us and Him. It is very easy. He can be conquered with love. There is no need to conquer because we ourselves are the embodiment of that love. That is why I feel whatever you do, we cannot measure it by saying, I went and attended bhajan seminars, I went and did this kind of seva, I did this, I did that. How much He has done, how much He is continuing to do, and how much He will continue to do for us. There is no measure. We have to rise up, we have to be part of that mission. We have to continue to serve. We have to continue to do all that He asked us to do. Because He is Nirgunam, Niranjanam, Niketanam, Nischanam, Sanatanam, Nitya, Buddha, Shuddha, Bhukta, Nischana, Nirmala Swarup. He is the only one who is the embodiment of the Supreme Divinity. There cannot be a second to Him. Never. And to such a Lord, I offer myself again with all humility and thank Him for giving us this wonderful opportunity to be part of this mandir.
Thank you very much, Vinay, for sharing your experiences. We were all really taken into a state of bliss with your talk, and we are very grateful to you for accepting to share your experiences with us. I request Dr. Shastri to kindly offer our token of love to Sri Vinay.